Now it's time to hear from Naomi Adams and Matt D. Paola. Naomi is the VP of Strategy and Business Development for League, and Matt is Managing Director for Canada for Huge Inc. They're going to have a conversation about how League has rolled out consumer-facing healthcare information with Loblaw and Shoppers Drug Mart through the PC Health app. Let's take a look.
I'm Matt DePaola, Managing Director of Huge Canada, here working with the Ensemble folks representing Volume 14, the future of well-being as we head into 2021. And today, we have a lovely guest with us today, Naomi Adams, who is the VP of Strategy and New Business at League in Toronto. Naomi, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself to the crew here, obviously a little bit of background and what your role at League is.
So as you can all probably hear, I'm not Canadian, I'm Australian. I've been in Canada now for about 3 years. Prior to that, I was actually in the UK for 6 years. At League, so I've been at League for a couple of years. At League, I look after kind of strategy and new business development, which is really what we consider our platform business. So taking the solution that League has built over the last 6 years, which initially really was a health and well-being and benefit solution being sold to employers, and now leveraging that technology to power digital health solutions for other organizations.
Let's talk about League, because League obviously has a big stake in wellness. So maybe for everyone viewing this, like what does League do? What do you do there? What does success look like for you at League? Yeah, give us a little bit of background.
We're about 6 years old. We're a digital health company, and our mission is to really empower consumers with their health. And so, you're probably thinking, what on earth does that actually mean? For us, that means making it easy for consumers to navigate, access, and pay for healthcare. I'm sure every single person listening to this has had various instances where you've needed to get, healthcare for a particular reason. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not made to be easy because it's not made for the consumer. That's not how healthcare was initially sort of delivered, right? It's been delivered from, big hospitals and kind of medical people, right? And really designed to support people in those instances where they're sick, rather than keeping people well and out of the healthcare system, as it were. So that's really the kind of the big mission that we exist to solve, and we bring a strong consumer lens to that. And essentially, League over the last sort of 5 or so years has really focused on selling and supporting employees. So selling to big organizations and supporting the employees with their health. We're now extending that so that our reach and our mission can be delivered to more individuals, more consumers. And so how we're doing that is taking our platform that we've built and using it to power digital health solutions for other organizations. So one particular partnership we have that many of you might have seen is a partnership with Shoppers and Loblaw that we launched at the end of last year, which is PC Health, so an application to support Canadians to access and navigate the healthcare system.
Yeah, I want to also dig into, because we are here talking about the future of wellness. I want to make sure we articulate, like when League looks at a description of wellness and a holistic view of that, do you want to just give just a brief overview of what that is, so that we're all grounded in when League looks at wellness, we mean this?
So we actually, some of the principles that we work off are underpinned by something that's called the social determinants of health. And the social determinants of health has a number of aspects to it. It really says that, your health isn't just made up of, kind of your physical health, but it's also made up of your mental health. It's made up of your financial health. It's also made up of your social health. How connected do you feel to your community and so on. So, I think when you think about impacting someone's health and wellness, you have to think about all those aspects. Mental health, I think, is a massive part of, of someone's health, and something that, that I think has it's definitely been something that we've seen more employers take notice of over the last few years. And, not least during the last year with the pandemic.
How has the pandemic affected League, your growth, the receptivity of certain conversations around your view of holistic wellness, product development, like any kind of, just kind of broad spectrum, obviously everyone's had to pivot a lot, but how's that affected the business of League?
So right at the beginning of the pandemic, one thing we realized is a lot of companies need help right now. Everyone's just gone remote, and organizations need a way to give support to their employees for their health. So we actually kind of pivoted one product that we have essentially to be able to deploy to a new customer in 2 weeks. So that was, that kind of cut our implementation times down from sort of, 2 to 3 months to basically 2 weeks to get something, for our employer clients, so that they could support their employees. So I think that was sort of something that we responded to quickly.
You talked a little bit about pivoting one product to get to market faster, but is there anything, how else has it affected, the business or product development specifically in the last year?
So we've introduced some new capabilities. So one thing that we see that employers will need when we return to the office, to the workplace, is a way to actually check in with their employees. So when the employees are coming into the office, making sure that they're well. So that's one piece of it, and that they're cleared for work. So that was something that we've also pivoted to implement. More broadly, though, I think we just see an increased need for a lot of different companies, pharmacy retailers, health providers, major insurance carriers. They're looking for ways to offer more to their end consumers, to their patients, to their constituents, to support them in their digital health, their health journey through a digital solution.
Is there anything else kind of on the horizon for League this year that we should all watch out for or be excited for that you can share?
Yeah, I would just say, look, like we launched our partnership with Shoppers and Loblaw, so PC Health, in Canada at the back end of last year, and there's lots of exciting stuff to come there. So if you're in Canada, download the PC Health app. You get free access to, chat with a nurse if you have an issue, chat with a Loblaw dietitian. You can complete health programs to support, your physical health, your mental health, your diet, and earn PC Optimum points. So,
final question: what are your top 5 predictions for what the next normal will be like for businesses? A lot of people are talking about, a lot of people are pontificating and predicting what the future of work could look like. But what do you think? What do you think our next normal is going to be on the other side of this?
I think the flexible working and what I talked about in terms of how League is responding as well, kind of people sort of choosing to perhaps work remote some days or come into the office. I think that's here to stay, at least for the next few years. I think it's been proven that we can do it. We can operate very effectively, despite not being in the same room. So I think that's definitely here to stay. I think the second one for me, which is also a real hope for League as a business, is that your employers have really realized the important role that they play in the health of their employees and the services that they can offer and the ways that they can support people, with their health. So I think that's the second one. I think that the employer will know that they have to play a greater role, in managing people's health or supporting people's health. Probably the third one is that, I think offices will change. Like, I just don't, some offices I've worked in the past have been pretty kind of cramped in. I don't think people are going to feel as comfortable with that sort of a setup.
Thank you for sharing the top 3. Those are all great predictions. So I think we're all anxious to see what the other side looks like. So on behalf of Ensemble, Volume 14, the future of well-being, Naomi, would like to thank you for your time and your candor today. Really appreciate your openness and sharing your view of the world. And I think we wish you nothing and the folks at League success as we kind of help see another great Canadian company expand globally. So thank you for your time today.